Okay, here's page CC. How many integers are in the solution combined inequality? So I got to think about if x is greater than 1 and it's less than 10, I'm looking for the things between 1 and 10. Well, what are the integers? Integers are whole numbers. So the only whole numbers would have been 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So there's actually only 8 integers between 1 and 10. Number 7, it gives me 3 bowling scores, but we want to have an average of at least 130, which means the average could be greater than or equal to 130. So how do we find average? Well, we add up all the scores we have, which would be 120, 135, and 140. And that together is 395, but we're going to be adding the 4th score, which will count as x, and we have to divide by 4. So the first thing to solve this is I'm going to multiply both sides by 4. And that gets me 520. Keep the sign because it wasn't a negative. X plus 395. Now I'm going to subtract 395 from both sides in order to find out what x is. And that gets me x has to be at least 125, which means it could be 125 or greater in order for me to have that average. Number 8, on the graph below, graph the solution. So I have an absolute value inequality. So this is going to turn into 2 problems. X minus 2 and x minus 2, the stuff that is inside the absolute value I write twice. One of them I'm going to say is less than or equal to 1, and the other one I'm going to make a negative 1 and flip the sign. And then because this is a less than, this is an and problem. Add 2, add 2. X is less than or equal to 3, and add 2, add 2. X is greater than or equal to 1. So if I put that together, what that pretty much means is that x is going to be between greater than 1 or equal to 1. All this stuff in between and including 3 and 1. And then I could write this as my answer, or I can say that x is just between 1 and 3. Last one on this page, Lawrence School is having a donut sale to raise money. School will spend $30 for advertising. Remember that advertising is a cost to the school. Then they're going to pay $1 for the dozen donuts they buy, so that's another cost. $1 per dozen. So this is they're not going to make money here, they actually have to spend money. But then they're going to turn that around and sell the donuts. So this would be their income, $2.50 per dozen. Now it says, write an expression for the total cost of advertising in donuts. Well, the cost to them would be the $30 plus $1 per dozen. X is the number of dozen. That's the first thing. The expression for how much they'll bring in is just $2.50 times x. So next it says, how many dozen donuts will they have to make a profit of at least $180? Okay, so profit, that's our answer. It's going to be at least 180. So how do they make profit? Well, to make profit, it is the income minus the expenses. And expenses is just another name for the cost, what it's going to cost them. Well, the income would be $2.50, x, and I'm going to subtract. But remember, I'm going to subtract this whole thing. So this right here was how much they're going to spend. So I'm going to put 30 minus the whole thing, 30 plus x. Now, when I distribute the minus sign, you're going to get 2.5x, or 2 and 5/10 x, minus 30. And then I'm distributing it to both. Minus x is greater than or equal to 180. And now I'm just going to solve it. I've got to combine the negative x and the positive 2.5 and get 1.5x minus 30 greater than or equal to 180. Add 30 to both sides. 1.5x is greater than or equal to 210. And then I'm going to do 210 divided by 1.5 and get 140, which which means X has to be greater than or equal to 140 for them to make that profit, which means that's the number of dozen donuts they have to sell.